Hi everyone! So ngayon, I will be explaining to you paano isosolve ng maayos yung mga problems na given sa module nyo for the first week of the fourth quarter. Kasi yung iba dyan, medyo hindi natin nagigets kasi kung bakit ganito yung ginamit na equation, bakit hindi yung ganito. In kinematics, there are 4 equations to be considered. It will depend on the problem and the given values kung ano yung equation na gagamitin natin. So in reality, 4 talaga yung equations na yan. In your module, it's only 3. Okay, so ngayon, i-discuss natin siya one by one and afterwards, you will try it on your own. So kung magigets nyo yung i-explain ko, masusundan nyo na siya and you can do the rest of the problems on your own. Okay, let's start with the first problem. Starting from rest, the PNR train travels at a constant acceleration of 2 meters per square second. For letter A, what is the train's velocity at 5 seconds? For letter B, what is the distance traveled in 10 seconds? For letter C, what is its velocity in 10 seconds? So, meron tayong tinatawag na GRESA. G stands for the given, that is given in the problem already. R is required to find. We are looking for something Merong hinahanap yung problem na kailangan nating isolve. So, ito yung hahanapin natin. E is for the equation. S is for the solution. And A is for the final answer. So, for problem number 1, meron dyang tatlong questions and isa-isa natin siyang isosolve based sa kailangan niya. Okay, let's start with letter A. So for letter A, sundan natin si GRESA. Okay, ang given dyan is, sabi is starting from rest. So since it is at rest, at the start, your VI will be 0 meters per second. Okay? And the acceleration based on the problem is 2 meters per square second. And in letter A, it is asked to find the velocity of the train at 5 seconds. So your time will be 5 seconds. I hope you can follow, no? Next is letter R. R is required to find. So you are required to find the final velocity of the train. Next, we have the equation. So, in the equation, 4 yan. Aalamin natin yung equation na kailangan natin gamitin based dito sa ating given and dun sa required to find natin. Okay, so meron tayong initial velocity, meron tayong acceleration, meron tayong time, and meron tayong final velocity. Ngayon, the one that is missing is the displacement. So, si displacement, hindi natin yan kailangan. Alright. Ito yung mga equations natin. Actually, I call this the cheat code. I'm sharing this to you kasi I find it easier na gamitin in finding the equation talaga. It was not given to us when we were in high school. Hindi din binigay sa amin to when I was in college. I just discovered it later in my life. So, si D ngayon ang missing. Hindi siya hinahanap at hindi rin siya given. So, hindi natin siya kailangan. So, table, what equation does not need the displacement? The equation that does not need the displacement is equation number 1. So, sa equation number 1, meron siyang initial velocity, meron siyang acceleration, meron siyang time, and meron siyang final velocity in the given and in the required to find. So, gagamitin natin ito. So, this will be VF is equal to VI plus AT. Okay? Then, for the solution, we substitute now. So, this will be VF is equal to VI is 0 meters per second. Okay? Plus, your acceleration is 2 meters per square second times the time, which is 5 seconds. So, cancel na natin si 0. So, that will be 2 times 5, 10. Then, cancel the square and the other S. That will be 10 meters per second. This is your final velocity. That is how you get the final velocity using equation number 1. This is your answer for letter A. Next, let's have letter B. So for letter B, ganun pa rin yung gagawin natin. Let us have the given. So you're given your VI is equal to 0 meters per second. Your acceleration is same, 2 meters per square second. And dito, hinahanap yung ating displacement when the time is 10 seconds. So our required to find is the displacement. Okay? Ngayon, what will be the equation that you will be using? So from our given and required to find, there is one variable that is missing. So ang missing natin dito ay yung ating final velocity. We do not need the final velocity anymore, and hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung final velocity na kinuha natin sa letter A because this one is for 10 seconds. So VF is not needed this time. Alright? So, ang equation natin na hindi kailangan ng VF is equation number 2. That will be D is equal to VIT plus AT squared over 2. And then now, we can substitute. So, solution na natin. D is equal to VI, which is 0 meters per second, times the time, which is 10 seconds, plus A, your A is 2 meters per square second, times the time, which is 10 seconds, then you square it, over 2. So this is 0 already, that will be 2 meters per square second, times 10 squared is 100, then S squared, over 2. Okay? So that will be 2 times 100 is 200 meters. We cancel seconds over 2. Your answer will be 200 divided by 2 is 100 meters. So this is your displacement. This is your final answer. Okay? Ganun lang siya kadali. As long as alam mo yung gagamiting variables, alam mo rin yung gagamiting equations. Okay? Now, let's proceed to letter C. Meron tayong given na initial velocity which is 0 meters per second. Meron din tayong acceleration na 2 meters per square second. And meron tayong time actually na 10 seconds. And we are required to find the final velocity of the train after 10 seconds. Okay, so this solution will not be based on what is in the module. Kasi ang gagamitin ko dito is what is given in the problem. So ang given sa problem ay may time ka na 10 seconds. Okay, so this will actually be similar to what we have done in letter A. So for the equation, we will use equation number 1 kasi displacement is not needed, right? So that will be VF is equal to VI plus AT. Okay, then we substitute. So VF is equal to 0 meters per second plus A, 2 meters per square second times time, which is 10 seconds. Cancel this. 2 times 10 is 20. Cancel square and the other S. This will be 20 meters per second. This is your final velocity. So, yung sa module, iba yung ginamit niyang equation. I will explain this to you, ano yung ginawa niya. So, ang given niya ay VI, which is 0 meters per second, acceleration, which is 2 meters per square second, and the displacement or X, which is 100 meters. Bakit 100 meters? If you are going to recall the answer in letter B, that is 100 meters. Kasi 100 meters yung na-travel ng train after 10 seconds, which is the time na given sa question. Okay? So, ito yung given natin for now. This will follow what is in the module. Ang required to find natin ay VF. So, from the table, ano yung equation na hindi naman kailangan ng time. So, time is not needed. Walang time sa given, wala ring time sa required to find. So, that will be equation number 3. So, that is VF squared is equal to VI squared plus 2AD. Okay, so this is our equation. So, solution natin, substitute lang natin siya. So, VF squared is equal to VI is 0 meters per second, then you square it, plus 2 times A, which is 2 meters per square second, times the displacement, which is 100 meters. Then we simplify this, that will be 4 meters per square second times 100 meters. So this is VF squared, no? Okay, next, 4 times 100 is 400 meters per second. So since this is VF squared, para makuha natin si VF, we get the square root. Since naka-square siya, square root din ito. So cancel the square, cancel the root. So that will be VF is equal to, the square of 400 is 20 meters per second. Okay? So we get the same answer. So 20 meters per second here, 20 meters per second naman dito. Ayan. Ito yung comparison ng dalawang solution natin. This side used equation number 1 and this side used equation number 3. Now, this is almost the same problem with number 2, yung ating vertical dimension. For our next problem, this is pattern actually dun sa naunang problem na sinolve natin. However, this problem is in vertical motion or in vertical dimension. Ibig sabihin, the movement of the object is either upward or downward. So here is the problem. A 1 peso coin was dropped by a student from the 4th floor of the school building. A. What is the coin's velocity at 1.5 seconds? B. What is the distance traveled in 1.8 seconds? And letter C. What is its velocity in 1.8 seconds? Kung paano natin ginawa yung number 1 problem natin, ganun din natin gagawin yung next problem. Kaya lang, there is a little difference kasi nga, this is in vertical dimension. Okay, so now, let us solve for it. Based on the problem, the coin is dropped from the 4th floor of the school building. Like for example, this is the building, this is the student, tapos yung coin niya is nag-drop papunta sa baba. This is an example of the first case of free fall. Ibig sabihin, the object is dropped. Let us solve for letter A. For the given, the initial velocity of the ball is 0 meters per second. Bakit 0 meters per second? It is because, as indicated in the problem, the coin is dropped from the 4th floor. So, ibig sabihin, hindi tayo nag-apply ng force dun sa object, hindi siya hinagis. It is just at rest. Okay? Then, since it is moving in the downward direction, therefore, our acceleration will be the acceleration due to gravity, which is a constant negative 9.8 meters per square second. And in letter A, you have there the time of 1.5 seconds. For the required to find, hinahanap natin dito yung velocity ng coin after 1.5 seconds. For the equation, ang nawawala dito is the displacement. So, D is not needed. Hindi natin kailangan si D, so we will use equation number 1. That will be VF is equal to VI plus GT. G because this is in the vertical dimension. So, solve na natin siya. For the solution, we have VF is equal to VI plus GT. Substitute, this will be 0 meters per second plus your acceleration due to gravity, which is negative 9.8 meters per square second times 1.5 seconds. Then simplify na natin. That will be negative 9.8 times 1.5 seconds. Cancel the square and the other s. That will be negative 14.7 meters per second. That is your final velocity. That is your final answer. So as you can see, the final velocity here is negative. The negative indicates the direction of motion of the coin. We can also write it as Vf is equal to 14.7 meters per second, but write the direction. That will be downward. Kasi negative yung kanyang sign. So you may opt not to write the negative sign as long as meron kang naka-indicate na direction. For letter B and letter C, you can pattern your problem solving dun sa ating sinolve kanina from the first problem. So, ito lang siya. Ganito lang natin isosolve yung problems involving uniformly accelerated motion when it comes to the initial velocity being at rest. Okay? So, sana naintindihan nyo to. If you have any questions, feel free to message me para malinawan. Okay? Good luck in your modules. Bye, everyone!